Hey everybody, welcome to the Yeshua Network. Today is day number 15 of the 40-day prayer challenge. And one of the questions I get asked the most is a question I would like to answer today. If you have not seen my series on YouTube, it's called Truth Me Free. It's about the time when on August 18th, 2013, my heart just stopped while in the hospital. And I had an experience on the other side. When I was on the other side, basically God had told me to come back and tell the world my testimonial. And he said that if I did do this, that people would be inspired, that they would get into the word, that they would believe and in him, and they would basically become curious enough, or their faith would start to grow. As the Bible says, it's for us to give our testimonials. I know today I didn't give a prep. As you can see, I'm in my gym clothes. Today's schedule has just been crazy, so I apologize for my look today and everything like that. But hey, it's not about what I look like. It's about what I got inside going on, right? So, but today what I wanted to do is something very simple and to answer one of the questions I get asked the most. Nathan, how do you hear from God? Christians often use that term. Oh, God told me this, or God said this, or I hear God. Like, it's something that is casually often thrown out in modern day Christianity. I will testify that I have heard God on multiple occasions in my life. And a lot of times it's more like an inner whisper in my heart and my mind. It's like a thought, but it's not my own. And it comes with a bunch of information that there's no way I could possibly know. Sometimes it's not always good information. To give you guys an example, since I'm just testifying here, one of the things that I unfortunately also have gotten is when people are going to die. One of the things that I saw 3 years before it happened was my father's own death. And I know this is kind of like, wow, did he just say what he said? I did just say what I just said. It is a true statement. I am testifying that God does speak to us, that he does live today in our world, and he does walk with us as he walked with the Jews in the desert for 40 years. He is very much wanting to be a part of your life. And I think that it is important that people understand something that I had to figure out the hard way. Whenever I cried out to God and I begged God to speak to me and give me an answer, and there was something I was so desperate. I mean, like to the what do they say? The end of my wits, right? Is the saying. I was at the end of my wits and I absolutely was just devastated and I needed God. Anytime I cried out to God with that, I never really got like that clear as day, bam, I'm hearing from God. Like, boom, right there in that moment, God, I need you. And he showed up and there it was. I got the answer I was looking for. I don't think that's ever happened. The time that I hear God the most, and I feel the Spirit of God like tugging me and pulling me where it's clear and there's not like a resistance, or there's not a confusion. Like, oh, was that God? Was that me? Was that the Holy Spirit? Like, well, what did I just feel? Is when I am in a state of gratitude. When I'm in a state of like, I'm pleased. I'm blanking on the word right now. I'm having a senior moment and I'm not that senior. What's going on with me, guys? I'm just completely satisfied, right? I have no wanting in my heart. When I get to that place in my mind and my heart where I am just like, God, I really trust you. And then I just walk with him like he's a friend instead of this almighty power in the sky that's so far away from me that I can never know it. I can never be in relationship with it. It's weird. I get into those seasons as well. So if you're in one of those seasons where you just feel that God is super far away from you, he doesn't hear you at all, or you just will never hear him, I pray that you surrender. Whenever I've gotten to a place where I am completely surrendered to whatever the result of my life will be, whether it means I'm homeless, whether it means I'm dead broke, or I'm just, single for the rest of my life, like all the things like where you get like really depressed, right? And you just get to that point where you just finally surrender and say, I have to trust that God has a plan, that something's going to break here in my life. And when I get to that moment, where I am just completely content. I don't know why that word was gone. It's not a hard word. When I am completely content and truly content and just trusting God, I hear God very clearly. And if you guys would like to know more about my experiences walking with God throughout my life, studying all the religions of the world and basically pushing away Christianity for the first 3/4 of my life and hating on Christians, and then reluctantly I read the Bible because God asked me to, and now here I am. I realized once I read it for myself, it was not everything that everybody had been telling me. It wasn't what believers were telling me, and it wasn't what non-believers were telling me. I can actually say that nobody has ever told me the truth of the Bible in my life. I've never had any human being ever tell me the truth of what's really in the Bible. What's preached in the churches is not accurate, and what all the naysayers and all the atheists and all the haters say is completely baloney. So that is why you hear me kind of like a broken record. If you have watched my series, or if you have watched me for the last 4 years, if you knew me for the last 4 years, you hear me say almost like too much. Like it's kind of like I'm beating a dead horse. I hate that saying. It's horrible. I always say read the Bible for yourself. Every single word, from the first word to the last. I'm like a total broken record on that, because that was how I came into the truth. That was how I came into my faith. And it is so different than what anybody has ever said or any book I've ever read about it. So today I'm not going to grab passages. I'm just speaking from the heart. I want to be quick, as fast as I can today. I want to pray for you to find that place of satisfaction, of content, of surrender. Because when we truly do lay our crowns at his feet and he takes over, we're like children in the backseat of the car. We don't wonder how is mom and dad's driving technique. We don't wonder is the road ahead full of dangers. We are drifting our mind out the window and looking at the birds or the trees or the cars, and we're looking at the scenery. We don't get wrapped up in is the car got enough motor oil? Is there enough gas? How far do we have to go? How long is traffic going to put us behind? These are all the things that when you're behind the wheel, this is what consumes your mind. But when you're a child sitting in the back seat, and I'm talking like a young child, like let's go to 4, 5, 6 years old, right? You never think about that stuff ever. And those are the best car rides, aren't they? So I want to pray today that you guys find that place, no matter, especially, it's really hard. It's really hard when you're scared to let go. But I also want to tell you that even me, somebody, and I will testify, I've learned that I am blessed. I do hear from God quite a bit. And I'm not saying that to boast, but I'm saying that in to testify that I know he's real, and I know that he wants to speak to you as well. I know that he wants to move in your heart and give you little tugs and say, you know what, don't go down that alley, there's danger. And I want to be somebody who can help you learn that tug and help you learn how to hear that a little bit better. And the very first step to it is surrender and just trust. So let's go ahead and lift that up today. Almighty Yahweh, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I thank you for this blessed day. I thank you for the roof over my head, the food in my belly, the clothes on my body. I thank you for the things I have today that I haven't always had. I thank you that you allowed me to be homeless in my life. God, I actually thank you because they were the moments that my pride was broken. They were the moments that I was forced into surrender states, into just being completely at the will of God. Had I not ever been completely homeless and absolutely powerless and unable to do for myself, I don't know if I ever would have really learned the power of throwing all my crowns at your feet. And I am thankful for that. I actually thank you for the most difficult times in my life. I thank you that you have taught me as a father would. You did not spare the rod on me. You smashed my pride, and it hurt a lot at times, Lord, and I am thankful that you did not give up on me. I pray for anybody else right now, Lord, who is just crying out and feels that you are just not listening to them, that they cannot hear you, and the only thing in the whole universe that they want to hear is you. I pray that they will remember this passage, which has been a total lifesaver for me. Be still and know that I am the Lord, thy God. Lord, that sentence is just so powerful when I finally lived it. Be still Don't do anything. Don't struggle. Don't fight. It's like being in quicksand, Lord. You showed me that the way to beat quicksand is to just trust and stay still. And you would pull me out every single time. If you didn't, I wouldn't be here speaking today. So I have to trust that you will always pull me out of the muck of life. Otherwise, you're just going to bring me home. And since I have been home and I have been to your paradise, I testify, God, that I would actually rather be there. But I also don't have kids and I don't have a family. So, Lord, I understand that for me, like Paul, it's a little bit easier for me to go ahead and let go of this world. But for some of us who have attachments, we can't let go of the world so easily. So for those people, I pray. For the people who it's harder to surrender, I pray for them an extra prayer, that they would have the faith to truly leap and truly surrender. And I know that you will always catch them and you will show up. And you will give that tug in their hearts. You will speak that knowledge of faith into their bodies and their minds. And you will bring them through the circumstance. And the wonderful thing, Lord, that I know about this process is that when you do that with us, you make us a living testimony. And that means we become messengers of your grace, your love, and your mercy. I pray for every single person who's participating in this 40-day prayer challenge, and for every single person who we are allowed to minister from this day till your return on Yeshua Network. I pray that we would be a light and a guidance to them having the ability to be still and know that you are God, because that, in my experience, is where you have always showed up the most. And so I pray for faith that surrenders. I pray for hope that trusts in you completely. And I pray for a life for every single one of us that it might hurt a little bit, Lord, but I do pray that you would do all that you have to do to bring every single one of your sheep as close to you as you possibly can get them. Because, Lord, the closer I get to you, the refinement, the pain that I had to go through to get that close becomes absolutely worth it. The moment I am a little bit closer to you, whatever I had to go through to get that close to you, I thank you for those things, like being homeless, like being away from my family, and all those type of things, Lord. I thank you for them because they were how I learned to love you better and trust you more. So in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, that's my prayer today for everybody, Lord. Bring them closer to you and keep them as they go through the refinement of the fire. It's not easy and it doesn't feel good, but it is absolutely worth it to have a better relationship with you. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, to you, Yahweh, we pray. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you very much for today and joining us. I figured you guys heard me talk enough yesterday. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and really think about this. I know it might seem like a simple thing, but it's really not. It's one of the most difficult things I think that a human being can do, especially an adult, is to surrender like a child surrenders, and like a chair. When you sit in a chair, like Brian said, you don't wonder if the chair is going to hold you or not, unless if it's a creaky chair. But I really like the analogy of sitting in the back seat of the car when your parents drive. You don't think about the clutch and when to put the gear in, and you don't think about the gas, and you don't think about the time that you might be late because of traffic. You never think about those things as a little kid. And if we can get to that place in life where we do what we have to do as an adult, but we have that kind of trust, it's an amazing walk with Christ. It really is. Be blessed, guys. Be the blessing. Be the light. I'll talk to you soon.